Okay, Hoyt Man here, and this is the game that I made for the Game Jam. I already know how it goes and everything about it, so this is going to be more of an application of the scoring system for a game that I already know. And it was originally just supposed to be a simple apple, so get like a score of 1 on theme inclusion, and that's it. Just to kind of show what second place, how easy it would be to get second place in this jam. But as I was looking at it, it just kind of grew on me, and I just started adding elements to it until I got a really strange, dark, and twisted game experience. So let's hop into that and see what it's all about. So first off, no start screen, no menu, no achievements, no high scores, no nothing. Just a picture of an apple. And let's get going with it.
Apples, in their transient simplicity.
Let's restart. Okay. Okay, so we're already getting some stability
Apples,
issues.
in their transient simplicity.
All right, let's go. Let's go. So it's an apple.
Apples, in their transient simplicity.
Now they're talking to me.
The fragile essence of existence. Their glossy, vibrant skin reflects a momentary beauty.
It's like a lecture.
Yet poignant, a reminder that even the most radiant of creations must succumb to decay. They are born from blossoms, delicate,
Kind of a existential take on life involving the apple. And when we click,
though richer in duration,
it makes
carries
a
the weight of its
face.
mortality within every fiber of its being. It is destined to ripen, to bruise, to rot. Yet
Ugh.
within this inevitability, the apple stands as a testament
face
to the
looks like it's rotting too.
a paradoxical celebration of life entwined with the shadow of its end. The apple's journey from seed to fruit parallels the human struggle for purpose amidst the certainty of death. Its growth is slow, nurtured by unseen roots and unseen
Right. So that's definitely the death theme.
Yet, no sooner does it reach its peak than the decline begins.
But it's so happy. How can you not be happy
perfection carries the curse of time,
about your fate?
the most radiant moments in life are but the precursors to their own demise.
Ugh.
This is not a lamentation, but an affirmation. For without the knowledge of its brevity, the apple's existence would lack urgency, and its sweetness would fail to move us. Within the apple's short tenure as a symbol of life's vitality, it reveals a truth too often ignored.
All right.
It derives its meaning from its impermanence.
At this point, it's interesting in its own way. I'm very curious about what they're going to say, and if there is other ways of interacting with it. Right now, it looks like every time I click, it just creates a graphic while talking about some ideals involving apples. Compliments of ChatGPT, by the way.
The criticism of existence lies not in the inevitability of decay, but in the human refusal to accept it. We rail against time, clinging to illusions of permanence, yet an apple exists without such delusions. Its silent acquiescence to the cycle of
Covered
life,
everything with
growth,
skulls.
fruition, and eventual death is a lesson in surrender, a lesson humanity resists.
Ooh, we have a new graphic.
The apple thrives not in its permanence, but in its capacity to enrich the world in the brief span it is given. We, too, could learn to embrace the fleeting nature of our time, allowing it to shape us into something worth remembering. But the apple's beauty, its vibrant skin and fragrant flesh, is not merely a reminder of death. It is also a call to action. Knowing that the sweetness of life is short-lived, we are compelled to savor it, to taste it, to let its ephemeral nature gather.
There's something hypnotic about listening to this person talk about the existential crisis of the apple while populating the scene with these cute but kind of dark little characters. It has a Monty Python sort of always look on the bright side of life effect. And perhaps that's a good little art program. Stickers and stamps. Alright, but I'm getting tired of these cute little Grim Reapers.
Lies the criticism. We bemoan death as an end, failing to see it as a beginning.
Okay.
The apple accepts this transition without question, becoming something greater than itself through its surrender. The apple's dust is not a tragedy but a symphony.
Alright.
Unassuming reminder that all things must
Getting
pass.
tired of feeling good about the passing of an apple. Don't care how you try to moralize it.
It embraces it, finding meaning in its
Oh, wow.
as sustenance, as a bearer of seeds, as a fleeting delight to the senses. It It does not mourn its eventual decay, for its existence has been full. Its sweetness has been tasted, its seeds have been spread, and its journey has reached its natural conclusion. In its dwindling beauty, the apple offers humanity its greatest gift,
All right, I'm
the
not
right to
sure how this
remain
is a
free to
game just yet,
rise.
though.
It does not
I wonder
quench
if
or
there's going to be
modernize
a
within
winning
the
or
same
losing
existence. It
thing
challenges us
happening
to live
here.
with the same intensity, the same acceptance, and the same grace. To be an apple is to understand that the present moment is all we have, and in that moment, we possess the power to
This
do
is kind of
anything.
dumb.
The apple teaches us to embrace our impermanence, to find joy in the fleeting, and to live not despite death, but because of it. And so, the apple, humble and unassuming, becomes a
All
refined
right.
critique
I
of
don't
human
think this
folly.
game is going to
It does
score
not rage
super
against the
high,
dying of the light. It
but
basks
that's
in
the
it,
whole point.
finding beauty in its transience. In its
This was a
stillness,
1 hour
it reminds
game.
us that the frailty of
Took
grace
1 hour to
and love
put it
is not a
together.
burden, but a gift. It is within the shadow of death that we find the courage
Totally
to
something
act,
anybody
to
could have
create,
done.
to live fully.
And
The
it
apple's
only used
existence is
prompts. There was
fleeting,
no
but
coding
its
involved in
meaning is
this.
eternal.
Just
To look at an apple and see
AI
only
prompts.
fruit is to miss the deepest truths of life itself. For in its impermanence, its fragility, and its fleeting
All
nature,
right,
the
let's
apple
get to the
carries the
point.
entire weight of existence.
Let's get to a
It is a silent,
resolution.
profound witness to the power
This
of the
this
moment,
lecture on
reminding that in
apples
face of
and
death,
life and
we are
death
lost in life.
needs to end. Okay, great. Okay, so I put out 107 skulls, 150 reapers, and 126 devils. Wow, you've created so much mortality. You've obviously accepted your own demise. You win. Okay. So this kind of alludes to the fact that if we didn't put out quite as many skulls and reapers and devils, then we would not have won the game. And possibly be enticed into listening to that terrible discourse about the wonderful lifespan and meaning behind the apple. Alright. I don't want to play this again. Okay, let's get down to scoring this wonderful game. Now, this game was intended to be a bad game, so it's obviously not going to get very high, but you can already see that there are a few items here that are going to get at least a 1. So let's get started on that. So, theme inclusion, yeah, it did have an apple in it, but it was an existential lecture that no one really wanted to listen to. Absolutely nothing really involving food, even just the apple. So I think I would give it a 0.5. It didn't even really include food except for the visual. And even then, it wasn't even referred to as food, except maybe once or twice. All right, game graphics. It had graphics, yes, and it had an apple, and it had some other graphics too. Those graphics were okay. Yeah, I think it did give it game aspects to it, so and an interactability, and I think that they were adorable graphics. So I don't think that it was effectively used, though that could be argued. I mean, once you know what the game was all about, and kind of this weird, silly romp through an existential Apple crisis with the delightful music playing in the background. The smiling, happy skulls and everything just kind of took on an ironic nature to it and just kind of heightened the absurdity. So I actually think that there might be some effectiveness there. I think it could have been better. I'll give it a 1.5. Okay, non-game scenes. All it had was a windscreen and possibly a loose screen. So most of it didn't even have a start screen help or nothing. I'm gonna give it a 0.5 because I don't even know if the important ones were included. The sound, the music, it had music, it had narration, a little bit more than slightly included. I'll give it a 1.5. Okay, playability. Fun, winnable. Yes, it was winnable. Was it fun? Was it playable? Not really. I'm going to just say it was slightly included. All right, original and creative. There was some originality and some creativity to that. I've never seen a game like that before, no doubt. Though it seemed more like maybe an early an early internet video than an actual engageable game. Was it effective in its creativity? I don't know. That's up to debate. I'll give it a 1.5. All right, its controls. The controls. The only control was the ability to click somewhere. That was it. It had controls. They were simple and easy, but there was really nothing to it. You weren't really controlling anything except for the creation of graphics. Narrative and storytelling. Ooh. There was definitely a narrative, a 5 minute long narrative created by ChatGPT to very carefully review the existential existence of an apple and what it means in the greater cosmic understanding of things. For what it was, I think it was very effectively used. I don't think it was a great experience at all, though someone might say that it was. I don't want to judge that. Um, was it effectively used in the game? I'll leave it at a two. I think it'll be a two. Length and replayability. It was long, yes, replayable, only if you wanted to see what the other condition was like. I'll give it a one. And stability. There was a little bit of weirdness at the beginning of it because I think more because of my jumping back and forth between the video and the game. But still, I mean, it's that should have probably been taken care of. It shouldn't have had any stability issues at the beginning, even clicking back and forth. So I'll give it a 2.5. All right, so let's tally her up. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's a 13. So just basically glossing over all of the items, with maybe having one or two here and there that were hammered, was enough to get a 13. It not approaching Coco's 19. I think that but still I'm surprised that I got so close after evaluating the thing. At the same time, I think that if anybody wanted to hop in there and put a little bit of time and effort into their game, they could have beaten that. They could have beaten that so long as they hit all the major points.